Welcome to Boston. This is John Unden, and I'm making a quick video tutorial of how to bring cameras and cinematics into VBS 24.1. 24.1 doesn't have the active cameras that the GUI uses in previous builds, so this is a workaround script to show how to bring a cinematic effect and cameras to your battle space. And I'll show you how I did this here as soon as it's done, which it's about done running now. So I'm going to hit escape and show you how this is all happening. So this battle space you will have. Let me go ahead and get out of this battle space now because I don't need it anymore. I'm just using it to run that little demo. Let me show you how this works. So I'm using these red spheres as waypoints. This is sphere 1. You can type in sphere, S-P-H-E-R-E. Whoops, if I can spell. And we use the red sphere 10. Okay. Doesn't really matter what you use for it, but you can see them nice and bright. And the camera is going to start at red sphere 1, and it's going to move over to red sphere 2. You can see it's sphere 2. And then it's going to go down here to sphere 3, and that's it, and it stops. And I've written a script that makes the camera fly from sphere to sphere. The spheres are actually there the whole time. I'm just hiding them once I start the script. I also have a camera actor, or an actor in here, which is this helicopter. The helicopter is going to fly to this waypoint, and in this waypoint it's going to wait for the helo go to turn to true, and that also happens when I run my script. And then the helicopter is just going to follow its waypoint path over here. Then it's going to go over here. And by the time it gets here, we won't care about the helicopter anymore because we're not looking at it. So let me show you how I'm doing this. So I'm going to go into my script. If I can find it. Here we go. Alright, so this is a script. I'm going to make it a little bigger so you can see it. Try to get through this quickly. First thing we're going to do is open your dev console and drop this, and you can copy and paste it. I've just commented it out here. Drop this into your dev console and run it, and it will execute this function, which is the function ju flycam. So first thing we're going to do is hide the user interface, and we're going to bring up a cinematic border. If you don't want the cinematic border, you can comment this out. Easy as that. Then what we're going to do is we're going to find all the 10-meter spheres that are being used as camera waypoints seen in the OME, and we're going to hide them all. So for everything that's a static vehicle, if it's if the sphere is this BISim helper sphere 10 red, we're going to hide it. That's all that does. Then what we're going to do is we're going to for the helo go, we want the helicopter to start moving. So I'm going to set that, as you saw earlier, to true, and that's going to cause that waypoint to complete, and he'll start on his next waypoint. Now this is the part that you're going to get to manipulate. You can manipulate all of this, but your camera waypoint 1, which is the starting point of your camera, in this area, and if you're familiar with scripting, these are just comments, so they bear no effect on the code at all. What we're going to do is we're going to declare sphere 1 as our destination for the first camera, and all you would need to do if you change the name of sphere 1 to sphere 7 or 8, you would just change the name here to sphere 7 or 8, wherever you want it to start. You could name the start point, but whatever you do, make sure this matches the actual sphere that you're referring to here to start the camera. Right? So this one is sphere 1. Right? And I like to copy and paste things. I don't like to retype things just for the sake of not messing up. And I usually copy and paste things, so that's in there. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to make a camera at our destination, which we've called the position of sphere 1, and we're going to name this camera _cam. We're going to give it the effect, it's an internal cam, and we're going to place it back behind the object that we're looking at, which is our sphere 1, and we're going to switch camera to internal, and then we're going to set the target that the camera is going to look at to Helo 1. Now, Helo 1 happens to be the name of the helicopter. So we'll go ahead and just bring that up real quick. Here's the helicopter. You can see his name is Helo 1. So whatever you're going to target, make sure you get the correct name of that. Now you could do something fancy and find all the things that happen to be a aircraft that are a helicopter and find it that way, but it's just easier for what we're trying to do to make a quick video to just hard code the global variable helo1 in here. Then cam commit 0 means we're going to execute the cam immediately. I'll just say now because it's too hard to spell immediately. And then what we're going to do is camera waypoint 2. So in this block you would put your second waypoint, which is sphere 2. And it's the same thing. We want it to look at helo 1 while it's moving, and to its destination, which is sphere 2. And we're going to cam commit 20. Now what does that mean? It's going to take 20 seconds for that camera to arrive at its destination. So if you want the camera to go really fast, make this a small number. It will get there in 1 second. If you want it to take a longer time, give it 100. It'll take 100 seconds to get there. 20 seemed to be a good number. That was trial and error. I figured out 20 seemed to work. And then what we're going to do is we're going to keep it at that location for 20 seconds. And then we're going to move the camera again. So this sleep keeps the camera from doing anything for 20 seconds. And that's also the reason that you're going to need to put a spawn when you actually call this function, because you cannot use sleeps for anything other than a spawn. If you called that function, it wouldn't like it. So, yeah, so sphere 3, we're going to get the pause of sphere 3. We're going to have it aim at the fire truck this time, and the fire truck is named FT1. We'll go ahead and show you that. Where's my fire truck? Oh, let's find the red ball. Let's look down here. There's my fire truck. And you can see I named him FT1, just for short. There's all kinds of stuff going on this fire truck we'll cover here in a little bit, but to get it to actually stick to the road, we'll cover that in a moment. Let's get back to our code. And we want to aim our camera at the fire truck. We're going to move to sphere 3. We're going to take 20 seconds to get there, and then we're going to sleep for 20 seconds, and then we're done. Now, if you wanted to destroy the camera, you can comment this out, and it will destroy the camera. I usually just don't mess with that. I usually just hit escape. Some folks will say you have to destroy the camera. It doesn't really matter. If I'm only doing one camera, it's not that big a deal. But if you do start to have a whole bunch of cameras, you're probably going to want to do that for managing memory and making sure you don't have a whole bunch of stale cameras sitting around. Anyway, that's pretty much that explanation of the code. The other thing I wanted to get into, and you can go back and rewatch this if you want at your own pace, but for the sake of memory, I'm going to go quick through this. To circumvent the floor to get this fire truck to go below ground, I had to do some magic. And what I did was I took a sphere, which happens to be a black sphere. I don't know why it's black. It was green. You can use whatever color you want. I guess I used a black sphere, or a cube. I'm sorry, a cube. And I'm basically telling it when it initializes this thing, this cube. I could have put cube 1 in here, but this works just fine because this is talking about this thing. We're going to disable geo true, and that's going to disable everything about it as far as geo is concerned, and we're going to hide this. The reason I have this cube sitting here on the ground, if I snap it to surface, you notice it's actually on the surface with the fire truck. Now what I'm going to do to this fire truck though, I'm going to disable one component, all of its components with the exception of its visibility. So if you look at disable geo, it actually tells you a little bit about what it's disabling. Let's see, actually you can do that in your dev console. And if I were to type in disable geo, it kind of gives you a clue that the visibility, fire, view, geometry, and fall in the road collision, we're going to shut all that stuff off. The only thing we're going to keep is visibility. So I want to disable visibility false, and all other 4 are going to be true, because I do want to disable fire, view, geo, and road. Alright, so when we come back over here, in my fire truck, we're going to keep the first one false for visibility, and we're going to disable fire, geo, and all the other ones down here. So that's how you disable geo on it, and what that does is allows it, I believe it allows it to go through the earth, and if not, whatever, it seems to be working. I'm also setting mass to 0. That was an attempt to actually get it to float, free float. It doesn't seem to work. It'll still fall endlessly through the earth if I set it below the earth's surface. So the next one of these things here, sorry, is we're going to set its position. And the way I'm setting its position is I'm getting its position. The select 0 is the first value of its position, the x coordinate. We're going to get its position select 1, which is the second coordinate, the y value, and we're going to drop it to the surface, which happens to be negative 8.995, whatever. That's its location of the surface below. That's the elevation offset. I found that out through trial and error, but I got it. Anyway, so that's where I'm going to manually set the location of this truck below the Earth's surface. And then this is where it happens. I'm going to attach it to the cube. Okay, so when I attach the truck to the cube, it will keep it from falling continuously through the Earth, and it's going to be hanging on by a thread literally to this cube as soon as everything starts. It's going to happen so fast that this truck's going to snap to the surface of the actual fake terrain, the big maps terrain, and it's going to hug the cube and hang on for dear life. And that's kind of how I got that going on. So anyway, a little extra tidbit of scripting magic going on there just to try to bend VBS to our will. And that's pretty much it. So again, there are different things you can add for cinematic effects to the camera using the wiki. You can get in there and look up camera effects. And just like where we did the cinematic border true, you can find lots of other things in there that you can turn true. If you wanted to continue making waypoints, I guess that's the next thing I need to show. If you have any kind of scripting ability or skills and know how to do scripting, what you would do is just maybe copy and paste this. Let's say we want to add another waypoint for this camera. I'm going to copy it, and let's move it, say, over here. All right, I'm going to hold Alt and drag it up. And I'm literally making a camera waypoint. I'm going to drag it up higher because I want it to go high. And let's say I want it to look at, as it's coming over here, something. Let's say I want to make it look at. Let's see, it's going to be going from here to there. And I don't want to look through this building because it's going to be, well, I can stare at the building, that's fine. I'll have it look at this first sphere. Okay, that's kind of interesting. Why don't we do that? So what I'm going to do is modify this now. I'm going to just give you a demonstration. I'm going to take this and just copy this. I'm going to paste it. We're going to say camera waypoint 4 now. All right, and we're going to get pause of sphere 4. Now, what did I forget to do? I got to rename this to sphere 4. So when you copy and paste, it does this underbar thing. It's sphere 4. Okay. Now what I'm going to do here is I'm going to, what do I want it to look at? I don't want to look at fire truck 1 anymore. I want it to look at sphere 1. Oops, make sure that's right. In fact, I'm breaking my own rule here. Let me copy and paste sphere 1 so I don't typo it. And I want it to look at sphere 1. I'm going to save that. And there's no reason I can, 20 seconds is fine to move to that next location. And sleep 20 is fine. Let's save it and run it and see what happens. I think you're going to be surprised at how easy it is to add a waypoint. So we're going to run this. When I get in here, I'm going to go to my map, hit M again just to come to 3D mode. I'm going to go to my dev console. All right, I'm going to put this in, and just to demonstrate. I'm going to grab it right from here. I'm going to copy this. Don't get the hash or the comment blocks, and just dump that in here, paste. All right, hit execute. All right, and now we're going to see our camera is going to actually add another waypoint now. There's a nice helicopter. Got our city skyline in the background. Notice we've got our cinematic border. All right. So it takes 20 seconds to get that way, and it's going to go 20 seconds down. We're still looking at the helicopter. And after 20 seconds, he's going to start to point at the fire truck. As it takes 20 seconds to get there. And he's going to sit here and point at the fire truck. Actually, he's probably going to keep moving. There he goes. He's going to keep moving. And just shortly, he's going to start to look at sphere 1. And we're looking at sphere 1. And hey, there's our city. Ta-da! we are done. And sphere 1's gone because we've disabled geo on it and we're hiding it. And it's going to stop at the last sphere 4. We get a nice look out over the water. And I'm going to hit escape to end it. And that is my video. And I hope you enjoyed it and that this helps you out along your way. Thanks again.